Welcome back to Trail Tales. In this video, we're hiking the trails of Tianmenshan in Hunan province, China. This iconic mountain is visible from almost every corner of Zhangjiajie city, with its striking arch called Heaven's Gate, making it easily identifiable from many miles away. Tianmenshan is very easily accessible from Zhangjiajie city, and you have three options to get there: routes A, B and C, which take a combination of cable cars, buses and escalators up and down the mountain. We managed to book Route A, the most popular one, which started with a panoramic cable car in the city centre, taking us to the top of the mountain, and a combination of escalators and an express cable car, and finally a bus to get back to the city. Route B is the same but in reverse, and you'd only pick Route C if A and B were sold out, since you don't get to ride the panoramic cable car at all. We went in mid-May and booked our tickets only a few days in advance, but in the peak seasons of July and August you will need to book much further in advance and expect significantly longer queues. Our trail today is a 5.6 kilometer loop around the top of Tianmenshan. The hike should take us about 2.5 hours, allowing for stops to see the many sights along the way and take in the views. The panoramic cable car to the top takes about 30 minutes, and it serves as a fantastic prelude to what you're about to see. It's a very peaceful way to travel, and you'll see the city fade away behind you and farmers working below as you glide silently summitwards. Tianmenshan translates as Heaven's Gate Mountain, and the huge hole in the mountain certainly feels like it could serve as a portal. Upon reaching the summit, we started off in a counterclockwise direction, and it wasn't long before we got to the first of the 3 glass bridge sections. There is an additional fee of around $5 for each bridge, and you have to don these velvety shoe covers so you don't scratch the glass. It's certainly an unnerving experience. There were many people who were racked with fear, clinging to the rock face with trembling knees. I certainly had sweaty palms the entire time. Even if you're afraid of heights, I would still recommend it, as it's a pretty unique experience.
It's a little nerve-wracking, don't you think?
Yeah, I was more nervous at the railing that went off to nowhere when we first lined up. This is not as bad though.
The concrete here isn't quite as crumbly as the other section.
Well, actually, maybe don't look.
Yeah, the less you think about it, the less scary it is.
Soon afterwards, we were swept away into a fantastical forest filled with red ribbons gently blowing in the breeze.
There's absolutely no wind today, so whenever we find a lull in the crowds, it is absolutely still and silent and peaceful, and with all of these lovely trees and forests, it's a very serene place up here.
I'd visited Tianmenshan a decade ago and made the mistake of going in July. The mountain was absolutely heaving with tourists, with barely any space to move, so I was very glad for the much more relaxed experience this time. One thing that you can't really appreciate for the first 30 minutes or so is that the pathway is jutting out of the side of the mountain. Almost the entire pathway on the north and western faces of the loop are floating. This becomes very apparent at kilometer 1, when the path has a switchback in a narrow canyonette called Guigo Natural Moat. Here you'll hear many people whooping and yelling, as it is a great echo chamber. China is such a populous and noisy country, so I'm sure this is a novelty for city dwellers who haven't experienced it before. Up next is the suspension bridge, which looks out westwards. the city is obscured and you suddenly feel very far removed from civilization, save for the highway carved through the mountains in the far distance. There are restrooms and restaurants at least every kilometre along the trail, and this being China, you're never far from a gift shop, ensuring your every need, want or whim is catered to. At the southernmost tip of the trail is the Buddhist temple, filled with ornate statues and beautiful old buildings. It is a very peaceful place to explore or to take a rest. The eastern side of the peak doesn't disappoint either, with stunning views of the verdant peaks across the valley and in the distance, farmland. We found the eastern side much quieter. It seems folks didn't stray far from the entry and exit points to enjoy these views. As we drew closer to the end of our loop, we came upon the cave lookout point, where you can see the other side of the Great Arch. This area was extremely crowded, so we left quite quickly and headed to the final part of the trail, an optional 1 kilometer loop taking us to the other end of the arch. This section definitely felt a little steeper and harder than anything we'd done so far, but don't let that discourage you, this is well worth it. Here you have some of the best views of the stupendous set of switchbacks draped over the mountainside. Were it open to the public, it would be an incredible driving road. Indeed, the late Ken Block did this road justice in 2019, back when it was only used by buses, ferrying people upwards to the base of the mountain. Today, it is undergoing a long period of construction, so there was no traffic on it at all. Finally, it was time to head back down. So we headed to the escalator entrance and began our very long descent.
Just taking an escalator through the mountain, and we're down about halfway, and this is the back side of the mountain that you can't see the town from. We stood right up there about half an hour ago. So we've got another set of escalators to go down. So we knew it would rain today, according to the weather forecast. That's why we got an early ticket, the earliest one we could. And as you can see behind us, nothing to see. But in front of us still stands the very spectacular Hole in the Mountain, the Tianmenshan Cave.
And then we learned, unfortunately, with the Line A ticket, it doesn't actually get you the escalator all the way down to the base. So if you don't want to pay an extra $6 a person, Canadian, then you'll have to walk down the stairs, which in the rain seemed almost dangerous.
They're very slippery and very steep, so there's a good chance of death.
Yeah.
And not the swift kind, so
Yeah.
pay the $6.
Yeah.
The whole descent, including the upper and lower parts, took us about 20 minutes from top to bottom, although it felt a lot longer.
One last short walk to the cable car, a different cable car this time, which is going to take us further down the mountain.
The descent in the cable car gave us time to reflect on everything we'd experienced. The natural beauty of Tianmenshan is truly breathtaking, from its dramatic cliffs and lush forests to the unique cultural landmarks tucked into the landscape. It's a place where nature and history blend seamlessly. Well-maintained paths and infrastructure make it far more accessible than your average mountain, allowing more people to appreciate its wonders without diminishing the sense of adventure. It's an unforgettable experience, one that I hope you will get to explore too. In total, we hiked 5.6 kilometers, climbed a total of 412 meters of elevation, and we were moving for 2 hours. In peak season, you'll be moving a lot slower due to the sheer number of visitors. Overall, we rank this hike as outstanding, one we'd strongly recommend to anyone looking to visit China. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. We have other videos like this from all over the world.